Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. And today I'm bringing you the Hammers headlines in association with the KUMB. Guys, go and check out their website, kumb.com. Go over and check out their YouTube channel. Go and check out their forum. Great content there, as per usual. But I hope you're all well. And it's a big, massive week for West Ham fans. It's a big, massive week in our history as West Ham fans. And it's going to be massively exciting times if we can somehow turn over the 1-0 loss that we took over in Seville, but a good performance from West Ham at home at the London Stadium on Thursday evening. And as you probably can tell, today's show's kind of going to be all around the Hammers headlines about West Ham's Europa League situation, which is coming up on Thursday. But let's move into the first story, and that is David Moyes' injury update. He tells us everything we need to that we need to know ahead of West Ham's biggest game for 16 years. The West Ham boss, though, is renowned for keeping his cards very close to his chest on club matters, and I should know that at first hand, as I take a very key interest in his press conferences, and he loves to play the old smoke and mirrors games. Now, we have been covering the press conferences for about the last year, so we used to be able to pick up certain stories about what he would say and what he was going to do for the club moving into the game. But this game of smoke and mirrors is something that David Moyes is all about just now. Whether it's transfers, contracts, or team news, Moyes is very much old school in his thinking of not giving the opposition or rival clubs even the slightest possible advantage. So it perhaps is no surprise to hear David Moyes' typically no-nonsense responses when asked about West Ham's injury doubts over Mickey Antonio, Jared Bowen and Aaron Creswell ahead of what is the club's biggest game for decades against Sevilla in the Europa League, last 16 on Thursday night. So speaking in his press conference after the game against Aston Villa, Moyes issued a blunt reply to reporters when quizzed on West Ham's injury situation. And he said as follows: "I don't really know yet, but if I did, I would not tell you because I'm not going to let Sevilla know any idea whether they're going to be fit or not." And the boss man gave a similar response when asked about his injuries by West Ham's own media team. He says, "Well, if I did know about the injuries, I wouldn't even say it anyway." He said, "Let's keep Sevilla wondering and waiting to see what it's like come Thursday night." And Moyes' methods are completely logical and understandable. But sometimes, unfortunately for Moyes, the injury update probably tells us everything that we do need to know ahead of West Ham's biggest game for 16 years. The fact that Moyes is using mind games over selections suggests that he certainly won't have the likes potentially of Bowen and or Antonio available. And that takes me into the next story, which is the Jared Bowen update, or maybe you could say the lack of a Jared Bowen update. So Bowen's availability would be a potential game changer for the game against Sevilla. But it's clear from the various updates that Moyes has given and Stuart Pearce has already delivered that he's potentially not going to be available for the game, given West Ham's medical team are still not even sure what is causing the issue. If not fit, it wouldn't be great to West Ham, as we all know what Bowen is capable of doing. And one thing's for sure is we know that West Ham won't risk him if there is any slightest amount of doubt in our minds. But I suppose the concerning thing for me with this injury, it seems reasonably similar to the circumstances we found ourselves in when Creswell got injured at the Man City game earlier this season with that collision against the post. An impact injury that does not show up on scans, but the player feels discomfort, is very concerning. Let's just hope come Thursday, Bowen will be ready to go and firing on all cylinders. Andrei Yarmolenko up front caused Aston Villa problems, and West Ham can only hope he does the same to Sevilla if he gets a start. And Moyes' smoke and mirrors approach is an attempt to plant a seed of doubt in the mind of the Sevilla boss. We can only hope that midfield is possibly, or even our big defenders, Craig Dawson and Kurt Zouma, can be the difference makers with a goal contribution or two when it matters most. We can only hope, we don't make any mistakes for this game on Thursday, and we can certainly take our chances, which is possibly and questionably our biggest football match since the 2006 FA Cup final against Liverpool. And now we need a kind of display from people like Declan Rice, Tommy Soucek, and even Saeed Benrahma. Go and check the video I did on him a lot earlier today about the Benrahma conundrum. Go and check that out, and it's very interesting. But we'll move on to the next story because that then takes us to the story about that Masuaku may be about to feature for the game for West Ham versus Sevilla on Thursday night. Moyes is somewhat of a selection dilemma on his hands for the Europa League tie on Thursday. As we know, Aaron Cresswell is a huge doubt, and it seems as though Moyes may be ready to make a very, very big call. Masuaku may well not start, but if he is given the nod, it has potentially been suggested that he could operate as more of a left winger or a left-sided midfielder in front of Ben Johnson, who would start at left back. Or would you prefer Fornals to drop back into that role after giving us a great performance from that position when he played against Liverpool? In all fairness, I wouldn't actually mind seeing the Masuaku operate in a more attacking role on Thursday night. As long as he's not really anywhere near that left back position, then we are all good. But Moyes has big decisions to make for this game coming up. We saw Fredericks come onto the park, play right back position. We saw Ben Johnson switch over to the left-hand side and gave a consistent performance for West Ham. But whoever Moyes chooses to start the game against Sevilla, we have to be, or they will have to be at their very best. And if we are going to have any chance of reaching the quarterfinals of the Europa League, we need to be taking our chances come this game on Thursday. The London Stadium is going to be absolutely rocking, and we all know it will be. And hopefully the La Liga side will not be able to cope in what will undoubtedly be a real cauldron of noise at the East End. The West Ham players proved last week in Seville that we're more than capable of mixing it with the top teams. And let's hope we can do it. And fingers crossed, we can go and get a result. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you do go and check out the content. We've done a Ben Rama video earlier on today on the West Ham Daily. Tomorrow, we'll be seeing our big match preview with special guests. Really cool guests coming on our preview tomorrow evening as well, giving us really good insight into both teams. And yeah, stay safe. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And come on, you Irons. Thanks for joining us.